Okay, so always with a good motivation for the sake of all the beings. And okay, what did we speak about last time? What kind of debate? Okay, it was maybe previous lifetime.
We're doing one substantial type.
Yes, very. Yes, very good. Yes, one substantial type and one substance. Yeah. So that's the end of this chapter on causes and effects. And usually speaking, they speak about substance, entity, same in terms of establishment and abiding and so on. And okay, just a further point about what means substantial existence, imputed existence. So there are so many subtle points in Buddhist philosophy, so we cannot go too much in detail. I cannot go too much in detail. I don't understand all those points. Okay, so I have some slides. Some slides. Okay. So just yeah, the very first meaning of substantial existence, I guess that you already know that according to the Vaibhashika. Yeah, if you study the tenets, it means that for the Vaibhashika, an ultimate truth is substantially existent. Yeah, because it can resist analysis. Yeah, so it's from the Abhidharma Kosha from Acharya Vasubandhu, where he says, Quand la chom dans l'eau sel na delo minjuba, bum chu shindu kunzoptu yö de dunda yö sheno. Okay, so he says that Quand la chom dans l'eau yeah, so he says that when it can be destroyed or when mentally divided, then it cannot be apprehended anymore by the mind, then it is a conventional truth. And all phenomena that can resist that kind of analysis are ultimate truth. Yeah. So he says, Acharya Vasubandhu says, like water or a pot, yeah, water and pot, they seem to be conventional truth. Yeah, because a pot, you can break it. If you break it, then your mind cannot engage in that object anymore. Yeah, but for water, we could say there could be some debate. Yeah? Because if you divide a particle of water, then at some point you still have water. Okay, so it seems that a particle of water could be an ultimate truth according to the Vaibhashika. Yeah. Okay, so that's the main point for the Vaibhashika. Any ultimate truth can resist analysis. Yeah. It cannot be divided anymore, we could say. Yeah. Okay, so that means substantially existent. Okay. And for the Sotrantika, I guess you know the definition of an ultimate truth for the Sotrantika following reasoning. We all know that, we've seen that so many times. An ultimate truth, is it permanent? Is it impermanent?
Impermanent.
Yes, it is impermanent, yes. And the meaning, the definition is a phenomenon which is ultimately able to perform a function, yeah? Döndambar dönjenupeche. Okay, so it means that from its own side, yeah, in one sense, it is ultimately established and so on. So there are many subtle details about what means ultimately existent, substantially existent, and so on. So we cannot see all the details, as I said. Here there is a very interesting text, which is published by the library in Dharamsala. So I put the Tibetan here, but it's just for people who are interested in Tibetan. So here in English, okay. So that text is about mind and mental factors. And he says, Kensho Gensen says, although there are dissimilar textbooks explaining that non-associated composed phenomena are substantially existent or imputedly existent within the Sotrantika system, it has to be accepted that all cognitions are self-sufficiently apprehensible substantial existence. Wow, mouthful text. And all non-associated composed phenomena are imputed existence, which are not self-sufficiently apprehensible. Okay, so what does it mean? It means, usually speaking, that's a very specific type of substantial existence. It means self-sufficiently apprehensible substantial existence. It means that in order to be apprehended by the mind, you don't need to apprehend anything else. Yeah, so that's the very specific way to explain that. Of course, we find many texts which explain that. We will see that later in the further slides. Okay, so here, self-sufficiently apprehensible substantial existence. Yeah, so it means that a form, a cognition, and so on are self-sufficiently apprehensible substantial existence. It means in order for valid cognition to ascertain them, there is no need of another valid cognition which ascertains another phenomenon. Yeah, so it ascertains that phenomenon by itself in one sense. Okay, so that's another way to express that. And there is a quote from Kirub Rinpoche's Ornament of the Seven Treatises on Valid Cognition. So here, Kirubje is explaining imputed existence in the meaning of permanent phenomenon, and substantial existence in the meaning of impermanent phenomenon. Yeah, so that's something different. So he says to assert. Oh yeah, so this point is quite difficult, so we will put it aside. This quote. So just after the quote, an examination whether self-sufficiently apprehensible and self-sufficient are different has to be explained. That's exactly what Venerable Konsho Gyatsen says. Yeah, self-sufficiently apprehensible or self-sufficient. Yeah, in Tibetan you have Rankyat Zin Tuba or Rankyat Tuba. That's very different. Yeah, the very last sentence, Rankyat Zin Tuba or Rankyat Tuba. Yeah, okay. So we will see that. And this text is very important from Chankya Rinpoche. That's a kind of dictionary. Yeah, so he would say, if substantial existence are terminologically divided, there are the six. What means a terminological division? It follows you can posit the meaning of terminological division.
It's classification.
Sorry? Hello?
Classification.
Yes.
Classification.
Yes. It's a
Like,
classification. But
like the plastic rose. It's a rose, but it's not a rose because it's a plastic one.
yes.
Sorry,
Yes,
I have a cold.
yes, it's a classification which includes fake instances. Yeah, like Christine says, you can divide flowers in natural flowers and artificial flowers. Yeah, but artificial flowers are not really flowers. Do you agree with that? Yes, artificial flowers are not really flowers. Okay, still they are terminologically divided within the two. Yeah, so you have natural flowers, artificial flowers. That's a terminological division. Yeah, it's a way to speak. Yeah, okay, very good. So here that's the same. It's a terminological division into six types of substantial existence. Okay. Substantial existence in the sense of being established by reasoning. It means it exists. Very easy. Yeah. Repeat drube zeye. Okay, substantial existence in the sense of being established by reasoning. It means it has to exist. So that's one way to assert substantial existence. The second one is substantial existence in the sense of being statically unchanging. Yeah, so it means permanent. It means permanent. Yeah, okay. substantial existence in the sense of being able to perform a function. That's a real substantial existence. The first two ones are fake, like artificial flowers. Okay. So it means it is impermanent, yeah? Able to perform a function, it's a functioning thing. And also this one seems to be a real one. Substantial existence in the sense of being self-sufficient. Okay. And also here, substantial existence in the sense of being self-instituting. Tsuktup, tsuktup, zeyo. And substantial existence in the sense of being truly established. This one is the object of negation of the Madhyamaka, and especially the Prasangika, yeah? Okay. Then dup to zeyo. Okay. So we have 6 now. So usually speaking in the text, they speak about four types of substantial existence. But here we have 2 more. Yeah? One is self-instituting. It means that it is autonomous and so on, and truly established. So of course, for the Madhyamaka, those are negated. And also substantial existence in the sense of being self-sufficient is negated with regard to the person as well. Yeah? The person is empty of self-sufficient substantial existence. Okay, so we'll see that slowly.
Just
Yes, please.
I have a quick question. Established by reasoning?
Yeah, it means
Can
that
you
it has to
clarify?
exist. It means that it is proved to exist by reasoning. So it means existent. Yeah, it's another way to speak about phenomenon or existent. Yeah, it means that, for instance, you cannot establish by reasoning horn of the rabbit. Do you accept?
Yes, but some there could be things that are inferential valid cognition established through reasoning.
Yeah, then?
Can that fall into this category?
Yeah, we can say that this inferential valid cognition itself exists. So this inferential valid cognition itself can be proved by reasoning, can be established by reasoning, and the object which is ascertained by this inferential valid cognition, like selflessness, impermanence, and so on, also exist. They are established by reasoning. Yeah.
But
So it means that
they are impermanent. Are all substantial existence impermanent?
not necessarily. Yeah. The first one means existent. The second one means permanent. Yeah. So there are a terminological division of substantial existence. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. So here it's mainly this distinction can be applied to different contexts. In some schools, in some tenets, some would accept substantial existence and some would refute that. And it depends what they mean by substantial existence. There are so many refined points. Yeah. So it's not so easy. So usually speaking, the true way to speak of substantial existence in the Sotrantika, for instance, and also other schools, is substantial existence in the sense of being able to perform a function. So it means it is impermanent. Substantial existence means impermanent, and imputed existence means permanent in that case, in that very context. Yeah. Okay, and also
And the difference
yes.
between self-sufficient and self-instituting.
So yes, it seems that there are some refined points, like for instance, just before we saw self-sufficiently apprehensible substantial existence. So in that case, self-sufficiently apprehensible substantial existence could mean here substantial existence in the sense of being self-sufficient. Could mean that, but it depends on the context. Yeah, and self-instituting means it means that it exists from its own side. Yeah, So, of course, to exist from its own side could be refuted by one tenet, one system, one school, and accepted by another. Yeah. So if you are interested by that, those objects of negation, you could find Professor Jeffrey Hopkins' Meditation on Emptiness. Meditation on Emptiness, page 39. There is a chart where you can see ultimately existent, truly established, truly existent, existing by its own characteristics and so on. And he explains which school accepts one or the other and refutes one or the other. That's very interesting. And also in Appearing and Empty from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Appearing and Empty, there is one note, I don't remember the number of the note, where there are some refined points as well. So maybe I will speak about that later. Yeah, so self-instituting means it exists from its own side. Yeah. Okay, and self-sufficient could mean self-sufficiently apprehensible. Like the valid cognition as ascertaining a face doesn't need to ascertain anything than the face in order to see the face, to ascertain the face itself. So the face is self-sufficiently apprehensible, substantial, existent. But the person is NACP, yeah? It's a non-associated compositional phenomenon. And so it is impermanent and it is not form. So the person, it's not the face. Still, to see the person, you need to see the face. So that's why the person would be not self-sufficiently apprehensible, imputedly existent. Yeah?
Christopher,
Yes, please.
so can we say the self-sufficient here means the autonomous substantial self?
Yeah, it can mean that if we apply that to the person. Yeah, the person, if we apply that to the wrong conception of a person which would be apprehensible self-sufficiently, so self-sufficiently apprehensible, and substantial existent, because the person is necessarily imputedly existent. Yeah, exists imputedly. It means that in order to ascertain the person, you need to ascertain something else than the person. You need to ascertain the voice, you need to ascertain the face, and so on. Yeah, so that's why the person is never a self-sufficient, substantial self.
But can I ask, did you say imputed self-sufficient existent or imputed existent?
Yeah, so usually speaking, if we speak about imputed existent, it could mean permanent. Yeah, it could mean permanent. So because for the Sotrantika especially, the definition of a generally characterized phenomenon, we will see that later on the other slides, is a phenomenon which is merely imputed by a term or a concept. Yeah, so for the Sotrantika, a merely imputed existent means it is permanent. And if we say imputed existent which is not self-sufficiently apprehensible, then it can mean an impermanent phenomenon like the person. The person is an imputed existent, but the person is impermanent, yeah, because it is a non-associated compositional phenomenon.
So imputed existent is permanent. If my father passed away 6-7 years ago, and there is a picture, I have videos of him, so it's clearly the person is not existent today but was existent in the past. We have is that a permanent, like, because he was existent in the past and the past cannot, well, the past is constantly changing in my head as well, so like I don't understand how would
the person is never permanent, never. Yeah, the person is always impermanent, always changing. Yeah, so we can say yes, a person generally speaking exists, but the person doesn't necessarily exist at the present time. Yeah, like my grandma, my grandmother, generally speaking, exists, she is existent, so she exists, otherwise I would not be there.
Yeah.
But she doesn't exist at the present time.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they're not self-sufficiently apprehensible. Our ancestor is
Yes.
not
Yes.
self-sufficiently apprehensible, but imputed existence, because I exist, our ancestors exist.
Yes, but here imputed existence, there are so many levels as well, yeah? Because here, when you see substantial existence, and so on, then the opposites of those substantial existence are imputed existence. So, as you see here, different levels of substantial existence, those opposites have necessarily different levels as well, yeah? So
Okay.
that's why for the Sotrantika, a merely imputed phenomenon or merely imputed existence means permanent. But for the Prasangika, it would mean any phenomenon. Yeah, so you could see different contexts, yeah? Yes,
Yeah.
Maria?
That means that this extends also to sentient beings, all because sentient beings are, we also imputed them as, our mother, or, as incarnations of, a mere mind, right? Mere existing mind that, goes through different nirvanas and changes forms
Yeah,
so in that
yeah,
respect, it's not only the person, it's any sentient beings, and it's
yes.
actually the mere mind that goes from, nirvana to nirvana.
Oh, yes, yes. When we say sentient being, it means a person. Yeah, if it is a sentient being, it is a person. Yeah, but if it is a person, it's not necessarily a sentient being. For instance, a Buddha is a person, an Arya Buddha is a person, but is not a sentient being. Yeah.
So that means then a mere mind, which is beyond this sentient being, it's actually
Yes.
part. It is an imputed, because you need to think
So
about it.
yes, but for the Sotrantika would accept that you can impute everything. But it doesn't mean that everything is imputedly existent. Yeah, so
Right.
the mind, as we saw in this on the slide just before, yeah, mind and form, they are necessarily substantial existent, because in order to ascertain them, you don't need to ascertain anything else. For instance, a clairvoyant mind, seeing the mind of someone else, would see the mind without the need to apprehend anything else. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
So
not
that's why
Buddha, but
mind
then,
is a substantial. Yeah,
sorry, apologies, please go ahead.
no problem. That's why mind and form and a table and so on are substantial existence.
Yeah. No, maybe not Buddha, but the bodhisattvas that, exist currently, we know about them. Those would be then imputively existent, because we know they exist at the current.
Sorry, about the bodhisattva?
But so Buddha, we cannot at the moment validate, or we cannot, apprehend as existent, because we cannot validate them. That they are not,
Okay. Yes, we could say that.
while, for example, the Salvas, I don't know, and we know now, and I'm not gonna call names, those would be still imputed. So while Buddha cannot be an imputed existence, because
Yeah,
we cannot validate the existence in a valid cognition way, we can certainly, for the living bodhisattva, say that.
yeah, yeah. For the Sotrantika and I guess for the other schools, we can validate the existence of the Buddha if we study the Four Noble Truths, if we study, the nature of mind, which is able to see, to know reality as it is. And if you discard the defilements, then mind can glow, in all directions and so on. So then we can, yeah, in the best, ideally, we could say we can prove the existence of the Buddha. Yeah. Okay. Very good. So here there is a very specific point made by Chankya Rinpoche. The imputed existence phenomena, which are the opposites of these, should be known according to the specific texts in the respective contexts. Yeah, so some texts would accept substantial existence in the sense of, you know, self-instituting and so on, and some other would refute that. Like for instance, all the schools except the Madhyamika would accept substantial existence in the sense of being truly established. Yeah, a Madhyamika is a tenet holder which refutes even conventionally true existence. Yeah, okay, very good. And another very specific point which I like, it's just a few words but so nice. Self-sufficient and self-sufficiently apprehensible are not the same. Wow. Just one sentence, one very brief sentence is so useful. Okay. Self-sufficient, like in self-sufficient substantial existent, and self-sufficiently apprehensible are not the same. It means that self-sufficient substantial existent it is always negated with regard to the person, except for the Vatsiputriya or some Vaibhashika tenets, they would accept a self-sufficient substantial existent person. But they are the only ones within Buddhist philosophy, within Buddhist philosophers, who would accept self-sufficient substantially existent person. But here, Chankya Rinpoche says self-sufficient and self-sufficiently apprehensible Rankya, the Rankya Dzin, are very different. Yeah, so it means that for the even for the Sautrantika, the person is not self-sufficiently apprehensible substantial existent, and it is not self-sufficient substantial existent. It is neither. Yeah, the person. But the Sautrantika would say that the aggregates are not a self. Yeah, the aggregates are not a self-sufficient substantial existent self, and they don't belong to a self-sufficient substantial self. But the aggregates are self-sufficiently apprehensible, because if we speak about the form aggregate or the mind aggregate, then you can ascertain them without the need to ascertain them, to ascertain anything else. Okay, so we will decipher that slowly. So here in the beautiful adornment of Mount Meru, one of my teachers, Venerable Genlosel, is giving classes on every Tuesday evening on this text. I was not aware of that. I just had the news recently. So if you need, I can share the information at some point. Here, knowledge and liberation also very useful. Tibet and Tibetan Buddhism, of course. Yeah, that's our context. Okay, you find those 4 divisions. Yeah, that's also a terminological division. Yeah, so the 2 last ones mentioned by Chankya Rinpoche are just put aside. Yeah, okay. So substantial existence in the sense of being established by reasoning, we've seen that. Yeah, repeat drupet zeyo. Substantial existence in the sense of being statically unchanging, tembarming yurwet zeyo. So it means permanent. So the first 2 are a terminological division. Yeah. Substantial existence in the sense of being able to perform a function. Dunje nubet zeye. So that's a real substantial existence. And also the 4th one is a real one. Substantial existence is the sense of being self-sufficiently apprehensible. Rankya dzin tupet zeye. Yeah. So sometimes for the persons who want to study Tibetan, when we say Rankya, sometimes it's Rakatakaya Takya, and sometimes it is Sakatakaya Takya. But I asked one of my teachers, Venerable Gengen Sen, who is a scholar among scholars, a top scholar among scholars, he says the meaning is exactly the same. If you write with the anyway, okay, put it aside. Okay. Yes,
Can I
please.
ask? Sorry, it seems, how can something that is a function, performing a function, not change? If you have to perform a function, you have statically unchanging.
Yeah, so that's why here the number 2 means permanent. Yeah, it's not a substantial existence in the sense of being impermanent. It means just permanent. Yeah. No.
We're not, so each category, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're talking about a different thing.
Yes.
One thing
Yes.
cannot be in all these 4 categories. We are saying, oh, substantial
Exactly.
existence. Oh, so there are things that are permanent.
Exactly.
That then it will not perform a function. So there's no.
Yes,
You're
exactly.
saying, okay, it's one or the other.
Yes. Yes, it's one or the other, or it can be the last two. Yeah, 3 and 4. You can find,
3
for
and 4
instance,
can
the
go together.
face.
Okay.
The face, not necessarily, but it can go together. The face is 3 and 4. The face is impermanent, and the face is self-sufficiently apprehensible. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, and if we speak about the person which is a non-associated composed phenomenon, it is number 3, but it is not number 4.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, wow, very good. Fantastic. So nice. Okay, so here, yeah, the first two ones are just a way to speak. Yeah, they are not really substantial existent. Also, we can find, we will see that later when we'll enter into the definitions and definiendums. Does anyone remember the definition of definition? As we saw previously, maybe one cosmic era in the past.
What definition or definiendum? One is
The
triply qualified substantial
Yeah.
existent, and one is
Yes.
triply qualified imputed existent.
Very good, Zingrula. Yes. Wow, fantastic. Yeah, the definition of definition is triply qualified substantial existence. Yeah. But it's not because it is a triply qualified substantial existence that it has to be a substantial existence. It's not necessarily the case. Yeah. Okay. So of course it's counterintuitive. We tend to think, but if it is a triply qualified substantial existence, it has to be a substantial existence. Not necessarily. Yeah. You can have, for instance, the definition of permanent. The definition of permanent, yeah, a phenomenon which is not momentary. It is a triply qualified substantial existence, but it is a merely imputed existence. It's not a substantial existence. Okay, so put it aside for now. We will come back later into that point. So here, the number 3, we all are very familiar with that. Yeah, impermanent. Yeah, dungeon nupet just means impermanent. Yeah, or functioning thing. Okay. So let's see. Here you have substantial existence, which means impermanent, imputed existence, existent, which means permanent. Yeah. Okay. So the Sotrantika would add merely imputed existence in order to distinguish permanent phenomena from NACP. Yeah, from non-associated composed phenomena. Okay. Then here we have the definition of generally characterized phenomenon. Yeah? A phenomenon which is merely imputed by a term or thought consciousness and is not established as a specifically characterized phenomenon. Yeah, everybody agrees on that definition? We've seen that earlier, no? Okay. So here the point is very important, merely imputed, yeah? Yeah. Jatok itapatsam. Yeah, very important, merely imputed. Okay, and the opposite is a specifically characterized phenomenon, yeah, a swalakshana, a phenomenon which is established by way of its own characteristics without being merely imputed by a term or a thought consciousness. Yeah, everybody agrees? We've seen that also earlier, yeah? Okay, so here, I cannot go too much into the detail, but it seems that according to Kedub Rinpoche, if it is a swalakshana, it exists by its own characteristics. But in a dose of emptiness, you can see that there are some debates within the Gelug school. Okay, and here Yonzin Purbuchok seems to agree with Kedub Rinpoche because he says it is established by way of its own character. Rangit Senik Idrupeche, a phenomenon which is established by its own characteristics. Okay. So here, the
Can
Swalakshana, yes, please.
can you go back to having the generally and
Yes.
generally characterized phenomena, which is merely interpreted by. So, would we say flowers is a generally characterized, but sunflower is specifically characterized?
No, flower is necessarily a Swalakshana, specifically characterized phenomenon, because it is impermanent.
Okay. So we have to
So,
go.
but you're right, Paraviji, in one sense, flower is a generality. But to be a generality doesn't mean that it is a generally characterized phenomenon. Yeah, we will
So
see
at
that
what
in a
level do we have to go? We have to generally characterize phenomena has to be permanent, which means
yes, necessary.
unchanging.
Yes.
So, but it's let's say flower is an unchanging word, a meaning has been given to it, and
So,
the concept of flower does not keep changing.
yeah, so if you say the concept of flower, that's a generally characterized phenomenon, the concept of flower. But the flower is impermanent, is not a generally characterized phenomenon, yeah?
So we will keep going above. I think even above concept, wouldn't we have another level?
Another level of what?
But it
Go
means
ahead.
you talk about definiendum if you talk about flower and as a generality.
Yes, if you
So it
say
needs
the
permanence.
if you say the definiendum flower, then it is a generally characterized phenomenon because definiendum is a generally characterized phenomenon. It's non-organic rice. Yeah, because it is non-organic rice. You mix it with rice flour, then the definiendum flower is permanent, is the appearing object to thought cognition. Yeah.
What about language? If we say language, then
Language,
yeah.
yeah, language we can say is,
Or
yeah, it's
sorry,
concept
sound. Is sound
Sound is impermanent because of being produced. That's the favorite syllogism in Buddhist philosophy, no?
right? But isn't a concept produced?
Yeah, if you say the concept produced, then it is not produced. Because the concept is not produced, it is a permanent phenomenon.
But the idea that a concept, I am now, sound is produced. We are saying sound is produced, therefore it is impermanent. But sound exists. I know it's a favorite philosophy. The fact that sound is impermanent because it is constantly changing.
Yes, okay, very good.
But what is the permanency of sound? Air?
Air is an element, yeah. So air has to be impermanent, yeah. It's an element, yeah,
Okay.
within matter.
Air
Waves,
exists
you
in
need
space.
waves. For sound, you need waves, not air.
Yes. So waves, you can have waves within the air, within the water, and so on. And
Yeah. So what can we say space then? If we go above, I mean, like even concept is not, I don't think concept is permanent. That's why I'm
concept is
wondering
not
why
permanent. The subject
concept is not
concept is
permanent because we are
okay.
producing a concept. A thought consciousness has to produce a concept, and a
Yes.
mind is changing. Thoughts change, concepts can change.
Yes, it depends on what we mean by concept. If we mean the image, sometimes we use an image. For instance, if you think about pot, you have an image of pot. So this image is impermanent, but the content of that concept is
We said
temporary
that,
permanent.
yes, okay, but
Yeah.
concept is, let's say the world thought that the earth is flat for the
That's
longest
wrong.
time.
This one is a wrong concept. It is a concept, but it is wrong.
But so it had to change
Why?
because then it was proved wrong. Somebody proved it wrong after multiple I forget who proved it wrong. One of
Yeah,
the
so
Greek philosophers.
in that case, that concept, which is wrong, will be replaced by a factual concept. Yeah, like if you see sometimes, there are some movies, it's a kind of cartoon. So you have one image and another image, then another image. We could say that one image is static, but will be replaced. It's not really static because it is matter, so it has to change. But there is no movement, no gross movement in the image. Still, it is replaced by another one, by another one. So we have the impression of movement. Yeah, so that's the same. When we think, like for instance, if you think about the fly of a bird in the sky, yeah, so then you think about movement. So you would have a concept of the bird in that spot in space in the sky, then replaced by another concept, by another concept, by another concept. It seems to be moving, but it's not. Yeah, the concept is not moving. It is permanent, but it can be replaced very quickly by another one, like in a cartoon.
It seems like we are accepting that if it is during our lifetime, it is not changing, then it is permanent. But if we look over multiple lifetimes, then it's always changing.
Yeah, any lifetime is changing. Yeah.
Yeah. So a
Yeah.
concept can be changing
Oh, why?
across. A concept
Why?
is changing. In this lifetime, I think I would have a concept of something. In my next lifetime, I might have no concept of it. Doesn't mean it
Yes.
doesn't exist.
Yes. So your concept will be replaced by another one, but it doesn't mean that it is ceasing in the sense that it is, that it is changing and declining and so on. And when you have a new concept, this new concept is not produced. It comes into existence, but it
Okay,
is
okay.
not produced. Yeah.
It is my mind that
Yeah.
is changing. The concept
Yeah.
itself is not changing. The earth
Exactly.
never stopped being round. It was our mind's
Yes.
concept that it was flat, and then we found that it was round. And then
Yes.
later we might find that it's a parabola or
Yes.
whatever. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes. There is
I
a
also have
very
a short question. Sorry.
yes, please.
For the Sautrantika, the general characterized phenomena, are they existing from their own side?
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
because
So both are inherently, for Sautrantika, both would be inherently existent and
yes,
existing from their own side. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, they are not ultimately established because they are conventional truth. Still, it seems that there are some debates about that. I remember that Vener Gengensen said that, as you see in the definition, yeah, it is not established as a specifically characterized phenomenon, and some would translate, I think wrongly, it is not established by its own characteristics. That's very different. Yeah, so that's why Vener Gengensen said sometimes it is translated wrongly. Sometimes they say Rangitsenigi Majupeche, but it is not true. Ransen the Majupeche. It is not established as a specifically characterized phenomenon. Still, for the Sautrantika, if to exist by its own characteristics means exist truly or exist inherently, then even generally characterized phenomenon exists by its own characteristics, but is not established as a specifically characterized phenomenon. Yeah, so there are some fine distinctions, yeah. And it seems that according to, maybe Jeffrey Hopkins in Meditation on Emptiness, page 39, he says that for the Sautrantika, conventional truths are not, don't exist by their own characteristics. Yeah, so there are some debates about that. Yeah, but still, in this very specific case, to exist by its own characteristics doesn't mean to exist inherently, because for the Sautrantika, be it permanent or impermanent, it has to inherently exist. For all the non-prasangika, if it exists, it has to exist inherently. Only the prasangika Madhyamaka would refute inherent existence. Yeah, even conventionally. Is it more clear or more
Yeah,
confusing?
fine. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, it has to exist from its own side because for the Sautrantika and for the Vaibhashika, they would say, okay, if you really look for the referent of your thought, then you have to find something. If you don't find something, if you really look for the referent of the thought, then it means it doesn't exist at all. Yeah, so to exist by its own characteristics is very different from one school to the other. Yeah, for instance, this very note in appearing and empty, in this note, it seems that for the Chittamatra, for instance, to exist by its own characteristics means to exist truly. And that's exactly what Kerubje says in Those of Emptiness, yeah, the Tongtun Chenmo. He says that for the Chittamatra, to exist by its own characteristics means to exist truly. Yeah, so that's why other powered nature and consummate natures, they exist truly, but imputed natures, they don't exist truly, they don't exist by their own characteristics. And for the Swatantrika, the meaning is very different. They say if the imputed nature don't exist by their own characteristics, then it means they don't exist at all. Because for the Swatantrika, to exist by its own characteristics means to exist inherently. And it has to exist inherently, otherwise it doesn't exist at all. So that's why they have very different levels of understanding of what means Swalakshana, or to exist by its own characteristics and so on. Yeah? So that's why I cannot go too much in detail, because my mind would just blow up, and maybe yours as well. Okay, very good. So the specifically characterized phenomenon, if we understand it as equivalent or similar in meaning with existing by its own characteristics, then for the Prasangika, to exist by its own characteristics means to exist truly, means to exist inherently, and so on. So it is refuted, even conventionally, by Arya Nagarjuna. Yeah? Okay. Then now we have substantial existence in the sense of being self-sufficiently apprehensible, yeah? Which is very, very specific. Okay. So in this case, yeah, in this case, it's not the same. It doesn't mean is it permanent or impermanent? We could say it has to be impermanent anyway. Yeah, it has to be impermanent, yeah? Because in order to appear to a direct perception, a direct valid perception, then you don't need something else. You don't need anything else in order to ascertain that. Okay, so here you have the definition given. I guess it is given by Debongomang in the end of debate from Daniel Perdieu. A phenomenon with respect to which the ascertainment by a valid cognition does not need to depend on the ascertainment by a valid cognition of another phenomenon which is not its nature. Yeah, so this very definition is very important. And it seems that there are different definitions, of course, like usual. And Vener Gengyaltsen gave me a few times the definition in Sera. It's very similar, but I could not note that definition. It's very, very similar. In order for a phenomenon to appear to the mind, you don't need another phenomenon to appear to that mind. That's more or less the definition he gave, yeah? Okay, and of course, here we have Ngowor Magyurbe in Tibetan. So it means, in reality, Ngowor means entity. But it follows that you can say if the person and the face of the person are one entity, or different entities?
One.
One entity, exactly. So here, if we say that the person, the person is imputed existence, which is not self-sufficiently apprehensible, it means you need to ascertain the person depending on the valid cognition of another phenomenon which is not its entity. That would be very weird, yeah? So that's why here it's better to say nature. Yeah, the nature of the person is to be an NACP. And the nature of the face is to be form. So that's why they don't mean one entity or different entities. They mean just the nature of the phenomenon itself. Yeah, is it okay for everyone? When they say ranging more magrupa cheshen semenye bala tomige beche, so it means the valid cognition in order to see the face. Yeah, you need just to see something which is form, the color of the face, the shape of the face, and so on. The face is form, the shape is form. That's okay. So it's okay. So the face is self-sufficiently apprehensible, substantial, existent. But the person is impermanent, and it is not form, and it is not consciousness. Yeah. So in order to ascertain the person, you need to ascertain the face. But it would be weird to say that the face and the person are different entities, that the face is a phenomenon which is a different entity from the person. They are one entity, yeah? Still, there are different natures. The face is form, the nature of the face is to be form, and the nature of the person is to be an NACP. Okay? Very good. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so now we have the definition. It's very similar. Rangit semenye ba ranging ngor magube cheshen semenye ba la tege peche. It needs to be ascertained by something else. Yeah. So a phenomenon with respect to which the ascertainment by valid cognition needs to depend on the ascertainment by valid cognition of another phenomenon which is not its nature. Yeah. So the nature of the face, the nature of the voice, and so on, are not the nature of the person. The person is an NACP, a non-associated composed phenomenon, yeah? Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. So here we can see, for instance, yeah, the watch, in order to see time, the present time, yeah? So you need to see the watch, but the watch is form, and the present time is?
Non-associative composite factor.
Yes, very good. NACP, non-associated composite factor, very good. Yeah, so in order to see time, you need to see a watch. Yeah, so the watch is form, and time is an NACP, is impermanent, and is not form nor consciousness. So in order to see time, you need to see the watch. So the watch is self-sufficiently apprehensible, substantial, existent, and time, the present time, is imputed existent, which is not self-sufficiently apprehensible. Yeah? So that's the same with the person. You need to see the face, you need to see the body, and you see the person like this.
So,
Yeah.
so something that is time can also be a wrong, like you can have a wrong time.
Yes, a wrong time. What
But
does it mean?
I'm sorry.
What does it mean, a wrong time?
No, I'm just saying, like we can be mistaken about so many things in the substantial, existent, self-sufficient, apprehensible. Like we are apprehending something, but we are constantly mistaken about it. Like just, my timing of this class. Like, oh wait, is it starting at 6:30 in India? Is the time 8 o'clock or is it 9 o'clock here? Blah. I keep mistaking it. So we can be completely mistaken about the self-sufficient what we are apprehending, we can be mistaken. But what is imputed is not mistaken. Is it imputed existent? Is NACP permanent and not mistaken? Like we just haven't accessed a non-mistaken concept.
So here we speak about the objects themselves, yeah? The objects, like for instance, the face, the person, the watch, the time, and so on. So those objects, yeah, of course, we need to speak about the valid cognition itself in order to say if they are self-sufficiently apprehensible or not. But if we say, for instance, we are mistaken with regard to the time, for instance, yeah, during the summertime we changed the clock, yeah. So imagine I forget that, then I join on Zoom too late, so or too early, and so on. So I would be mistaken with regard to time. It doesn't change anything with regard to time. Time is always time, yeah. But I can be mistaken with regard to it. Yeah. So like for instance, I see a flower from afar, I could say, oh, that's a beautiful natural flower. Yeah, it doesn't change the nature of this flower, which is artificial. It means that I'm just wrong according to that object. I have a wrong cognition, yeah? But still the object doesn't change
Object
because
doesn't-
I see, I apprehend that or not, I apprehend it correctly or not, yeah?
So imputed existent is the object that is not changing. The self-sufficient, substantial existent is the object that is changing.
So here we speak about a very specific case of substantial existence which is self-sufficiently apprehensible and imputed existence which is not self-sufficiently apprehensible. We speak about impermanent phenomena.
Oh.
Yeah?
On both sides, it's impermanent phenomena.
Yes. The person is impermanent necessarily. The body of the person is impermanent. The present time is impermanent. The watch is impermanent and so on, yeah? So, because here, when we speak about imputed existence, which is not self-sufficiently apprehensible, we could say any NACP is like this. Any NACP, what is the definition of NACP?
Something that is impermanent and not mind and not consciousness.
Yes, a composed
A
phenomenon.
phenomenon.
Condition,
Yes, a
phenomenon.
composed, that's okay. If you say something which is impermanent or something which is composed, that's the same exactly. So a composed phenomenon which is neither form nor consciousness. So it has to be impermanent, yeah? An NACP is necessarily impermanent. But because it is not form, how do we apprehend that?
The same for the ability of a medicine or something like this, the ability of a whatever.
Yes, when we say the potency or the capacity, you know, or like energy and so on, maybe not energy like in the Tantra, you know, the subtle winds, they are tactile objects. But if we say the capacity, like a seed, like the seed of an affliction, the imprint of a karma and so on, they are an ACP. They are impermanent, but they are not form, they are not consciousness, yeah?
Okay.
Very good. So we can divide NACP into two. If you remember Palaviji on Monday, on yesterday, not even Monday, yesterday, we divided NACP into two categories.
Maybe person and which are not person or animal.
Yes, Christine, very good. Wow, incredible. Okay, NACP which are persons, NACP which are not persons. Yeah, so they are all impermanent. They are all functioning things which are not consciousness, which are not form. Still, yes, some are persons. So it's just a division like this, yeah. Okay, and some are not. Like
I
time
have a
is not.
short question. Why didn't you say before it is like a substantial existence which is not so self-sufficiently apprehensible? I mean, why is it now imputed? Because it still would be impermanent, right?
Yes, so before when we had the third category, substantial existence, which is able to perform function. So the person and the face, the time and the watch and so on are all substantial existence in that sense. They are all able to perform function. Yeah. So, but according to the last context, the fourth, the number 4. So how the mind is able to ascertain them? That's very different. Yeah. So they are all impermanent. They are all substantial existence in the sense of being able to perform function. But the person is imputed existent in the sense of it is not a substantial existence which is self-sufficiently apprehensible. You remember the definition of person?
That which is merely imputed on the basis of any of the 5 aggregates.
Yeah, we could say an individual or a being which is imputed in dependence on any of its aggregates. Yeah. Yeah, so we say a being which is imputed, not merely imputed, only for the prasangika. Yeah. So a being which is imputed in dependence on any of the 5 aggregates. Yeah. So it means it is imputed. It is an imputed existence. in the sense of number 4, but that imputed existence is a substantial existence in the meaning number 3, which means impermanent. Yeah? Very good. Very good. Wow. Okay. So here, okay, so we gave the definition already. Okay, so that's just some sources, some texts, reference. Yeah, here, if you check in Realizing the Profound View from His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Venerable Thupten Chudron, you find that, yeah, the self-sufficient, substantially existent person is refuted by examining if the I can be identified without identifying any of the aggregates. So it means the person is never a substantial existent in the sense of number 4. Never. Yeah. Okay. It's always, the person is always an imputed existent. Okay, so here we've seen that already previous time. Okay. Okay.
Christopher,
Yes.
so just want to clarify, sorry I missed the last part. But you said, when you said substantial as opposed to merely imputed, that merely imputed is said just to remove the NACP from the definition, correct?
Yes, exactly. In that case, merely imputed phenomenon means permanent for the Sotrantika.
Right, so then it can just mean the permanent. But otherwise, imputed would have both the permanent and the NACP.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is why imputed existence, which is not self-sufficient, apprehensible, can include both NACP and permanent.
Yes, yes, because even for the permanent phenomena, usually speaking, we speak about imputed existence, which is not self-sufficiently apprehensible, and substantial existence, which is self-sufficiently apprehensible. Usually speaking, it's a division of impermanent phenomena, because yes, because usually speaking, we speak about imputed existence, which are not self-sufficiently apprehensible as the NECP. Yes, exactly. But we could say that permanent phenomena either, yeah, you know, in order to ascertain permanent phenomena, you need to ascertain first an impermanent phenomenon. Like for instance, for space, you need to grasp obstructive contact, and then you need to negate that. Then you have space. Yeah, so why not? Yeah, we could say that any permanent phenomenon is first merely imputed, is a merely imputed existence, yeah, because it is a generally characterized phenomenon. And we could say that in order to ascertain a permanent phenomenon, we need to ascertain its object of negation in one sense. Yeah.
So in a way, impermanent phenomena are related to permanent in that way. It has a kind of relation in the meaning that if impermanent phenomena doesn't exist, the permanent phenomena will not exist in the same category or what?
Yes, we could say that. We could say that, yes, because the definition of permanent is a phenomenon which is not momentary. Yes, so you need momentary in order to discard it. Yeah, so yeah, we could say that permanent and impermanent are both related as the same essence.
Even if they are contradictory in a way.
Yes, exactly, and they are contradictory, exactly.
Okay.
They are related as the same essence, because without permanent phenomena, yeah, you could not have impermanent phenomena, because without existent, you could not have impermanent. And without impermanent, you cannot have the negation of impermanent within phenomena. So you could not have permanent as well.
But it's quite important to think about it. It's all the relation between permanent and impermanence also in the Four Noble Truths of suffering, which is impermanent. We can change it, but to
exactly.
try to make sense of that, it's not so easy.
Yes, and if you negate the first two noble truths, then you have the true cessation, exactly. Yeah, so that's why a true cessation needs, in one sense, that we grasp first the impermanent phenomena, which are the two first noble truths. Of course, for the fourth noble truth also implies impermanent phenomena. Yeah, the true path. Yeah. Okay, very good. Yeah. So it has to be, of course, it's just a general presentation, and we need to go further into details when we study the books and with perfectly qualified teachers, which is not the case here. But still, we have some kind of presentation now. Okay, and His Holiness would confirm that in those books, yeah, Realizing the Profound View. Also in this one, which is Appearing in Empty, my favorite one. So note 58. And also this quote from Arya Asanga, Nirnaya Samgraha. Yeah, we find it in many books. Beautiful Adornment of Mount Meru, also in the books from His Holiness and so on. So, and also in the Science and Philosophy in Buddhist classical texts and so on. Okay, so here Arya Asanga says anything whose characteristic is designated without relating to others and without depending on others, in short, is to be known as substantially existent. Anything whose definition or characteristics is designated in relation to others and dependent on others, in short, is to be known as imputedly existent, not substantially existent. So we can see here that permanent phenomena can also be included in imputed existence. Yeah? But for the Sotrantika, on the top of being imputed existent, they would be merely imputed existent. Yeah. But of course, we could say that if it is merely imputed existent, it's necessarily imputed existent. Yeah. Okay, so His Holiness says this explanation is accepted by all Buddhist schools. Yeah, this explanation of self-sufficiently apprehensible, substantial existent, and imputed existent, which is not self-sufficiently apprehensible. Here you find in page 63 in Searching for the Self. This explanation is accepted by all Buddhist schools. Yeah, so it means even for the Prasangika. The Prasangika would make this distinction. Yeah? Otherwise, the Prasangika would not explain two different levels of selflessness of the person. Yeah, the Prasangika is able to say that the imputedly existing person is the opposite of substantial existent person, and the merely imputed existent person is the opposite of substantial existent person in the sense of being truly established. Wow, okay. Okay. So here for the lower schools, the substantial existence mentioned here is the subtle object of negation in the meditation on the selflessness of persons. Prasangikas, however, say that this meaning of substantial existence is coarse and that the selflessness of the lower schools does not negate enough, because the person is also empty of inherent existence, because the person not only is imputedly existent, but on the top of that, the person is merely imputed existent. Yeah. Okay, wow. Very deep. Okay. Okay. So, yes, it seems that if we look at Meditation on Emptiness by Professor Jeffrey Hawkins, it seems that when the other schools say that the person is an imputedly existent, for the Prasangika, it is still referring to substantial existence. Yeah, because for the Prasangika, it would mean it is substantial existence in the sense of being inherently established. Yeah, so even if for the lower schools, the Swatantrika, down to the Vaibhashika, a person is imputedly existent because it is not self-sufficiently apprehensible substantial existent. Still, for the Prasangika, they still grasp to the inherently existent person. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Wow. So it was just some points about that specific subject, which is very, 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 very deep. And it's just a superficial way to explain that. And next time we will try to again speak about triply qualified substantial existence. First, we will enter into the instances and generalities. And next time, generalities and instances, we can see that some are one substance and so on. Also, I remember the question from Chaviji last time, what is the point to understand one substance and so on? One way to express that also for the Chitta Matra. For the Chitta Matra, if you see that cup is not a cause of your eye consciousness apprehending it. That cup and the eye consciousness apprehending it are one substance. And if they are one substance, they cannot be sequential. They are necessarily simultaneous in one sense. Yeah, the eye consciousness apprehending the cup and the cup are one simultaneous substance. Yeah, so it means that the cup cannot be called the object condition, mikyen in Tibetan. It's not the object condition, because it is not a condition of the eye consciousness apprehending it. A condition has to exist before the effect. So it is the object of the object of observation, miyul, but it is not the object condition of the eye consciousness apprehending it. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah. But as per Prasangika, if this holds, like object condition is there and then the mind comes, then doesn't that make the object inherently existent?
Why?
Because object has to exist before the mind. So
Yes.
first the object is there, then
Yeah.
after that mind comes. So object is existing from its own side.
Ah.
Not the mind is mind, not that it's a projection of the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Like for instance, in the morning, if you look for your favorite cup, you want to prepare coffee and so on, then you open the furniture and the cup will exist only when you impute the name cup. For me, before the coffee, I don't impute anything. But still the
But
cup
then,
would, yeah,
but
please.
for the mind to come into come into existence, for that object should be there all before it. If
Yes,
it is
because,
sequential,
yes, it is
if it's
sequential.
sequential.
Exactly.
So
You have,
object, first moment we have the object, second moment we have the mind. So that makes the
yes.
object existent before the mind and from its
Yeah,
own side.
yeah, that's a very good reasoning that we can ask to Ariana Gajuna. But
Because
they would,
what the example for Prasangika is like mind and its projection. So for
yes.
that to happen, mind should be first, then projection should come out of
Ah,
it.
May I
okay.
add
So it means,
something there? Sorry.
yes.
But the same object, it depends on the mind, because Christophe Lam may use it as a cup, but somebody else may use it as a vase, or somebody may use to put the coins in, or it's a, but it can be self-inherent because its function can differ. It has a certain
Yeah.
shape, it has a certain color, it has some, but how, if you start putting all those different dividers, in the end, you'll find nothing. So that's the whole basis of the emptiness. And
Yeah, so yes, so for the Prasangika would accept external phenomena, yeah? They accept external phenomena. Yeah, they don't negate the duality like the Chittamatra or the Yogacara Swatantrika Madhyamika would express, yeah. That the non-duality of form and mind, and non-duality of substance or non-duality of entity. Yeah, so the Prasangika would say that this cup is the object condition of our eye consciousness apprehending it. So if it is a condition of the eye consciousness apprehending it, it has to exist before. Yeah, so yes, when we say that the cup is merely imputed by the mind, if we say that mind has to be there before, so it would mean that the eye consciousness apprehending the cup would exist before the cup.
Both are irrelevant actually because they are not, conditioned to the same.
It's not my question.
Okay.
Yeah, would the
Yeah,
mind?
I consciousness should exist before, but I consciousness apprehending the cup will come in the
Ah,
second moment.
Okay.
yes, exactly.
But it's based on
Ah,
conditions, right? So that's why I'm just
yes,
saying it's not
yes, for
related.
the
It's
exactly.
not by itself, right? It's based on the
Yes.
conditions
Yes, if you look in that beautiful text, yeah, the title is perfect. Beautiful adornment of Mount Meru. It's a really beautiful text from Chankya Rinpoche. In the Prasangika section, yeah, he would explain the three meanings of pratitya samutpada. Yeah, the dependent arising. Yeah, so the very first one is we could say prapya samutpada. Yeah, it's a relationship of the effect from the cause. Yeah, the cause has to be
that
there in
they
order
need
for
the
the effect to
function. Yeah.
exist. So then this cup is the condition of the eye consciousness. Yeah, so the eye consciousness depends on its object, on its condition. So that's the very first level. And the second level is the gathering of parts, apeksha samutpada. That's a very much subtler point, yeah. But for the prasangika, pratitya samutpada, the real meaning would mean that even the imputed thought consciousness, the imputing thought consciousness, is one of the conditions of the cup. But yes, it's not the eye consciousness. The eye consciousness cannot exist. The eye consciousness apprehending the cup cannot exist before the cup, and the eye consciousness is not imputing the cup. For the Swatantrika, yes. For the Swatantrika, an imputing mind is a non-mistaken, in one sense, a non-mistaken mind. Yeah, it's a factual mind, any mind. But for the Prasangika, it has to be a conceptual mind which imputes the nature of the cup. Like for instance, let's see. Here, I have some tea inside. I have some tea up to that point. So you can raise your hand, people who would say, this cup is half empty. Okay, who is more optimistic and would say half full? Okay, who is right and who is wrong? Is it half empty or half full?
Both are right.
Both are
Okay,
right.
no, exactly. Yeah.
So
There is no notion. It's
it means,
more personal of how you interpret things, and
yes, it
it's a
means
notion.
that if both are right, it's not half empty or half full from its own side.
And it can
We
be
have
both wrong.
no, they are both right. You are both right if you say half empty, and otherwise there is no valid cognition at all. Yeah. So the conventional valid cognition would say, yes, for me it is half empty because I'm a bit sad. I'm on the low, I'm in the low pace and so on. But for someone very optimistic, wow, His Holiness had a Grammy Award and so on. Then so you are more optimistic. So you would say it's half full. So if we say that both are right, it means that it is not from its own side. It depends on the thought consciousness imputing that.
But that
So
means you put a
Prasangika,
property, you put a value.
yeah,
The only thing
yes,
that is true
but
is that there is
yes,
water inside.
yes, but here the imputing thought can exist before, during, or after the basis of imputation. Yeah, the His Holiness would say so in appearing and empty. Yeah, for instance, the someone like the American Indians. Yeah, they not like Paraviji, but the first ones who came to America. Yeah, before Christophe Columbus and so on.
Native Americans.
Yeah, Native Americans, thank you. Native Americans, did they discover America or not?
No, they did not discover. They were
No?
originally there.
Yes, but
They
before
didn't.
before they came there, because we know that human beings, they mostly came from Africa, then slowly, then they
No, there's an
spread.
evolution, yeah, but you cannot
Okay.
say
Yeah.
that they are the discovery of Americans because there's this evolution.
Yes, okay, but before they came, yeah, for instance, you
They
have a very
discovered.
specific they discovered, yeah, before human beings came, of course there were animals and so on, but can some human being discover a new territory?
Yes.
Yes, and that territory, was it America or not?
No,
No.
No.
that's why I said no, you cannot. It's an evolution.
I mean,
Okay,
it
it
was
was
not called America at that time. They just found
yes,
land.
but okay. For the Prasangikas, no problem. Even if you impute America after, then it was America. Yeah, the basis of imputation and the imputation, they are not inherently
Yeah.
glued.
Okay. It was
Yeah.
land, and then now we can impute that,
Yes.
oh, that what they found was America.
Exactly. So that's why the imputed phenomenon and the basis of imputation, they are not, the relationship is not inherent. Like for instance, otherwise we cannot say, for instance, Madonna, everybody knows Madonna, yeah. Is Madonna a singer when she is shopping in the supermarket? Who would say
Yes.
yes? Who would
Yeah.
say no?
Depends
Yes.
on causes and conditions. If you know her.
So,
I stop. Sorry, I
Yeah.
stop. I stop.
You depend on the function of
Stop.
the what you are doing. A doctor, if
It's a
he's
reflection of how
decided,
you know, yeah. And
doesn't
you
have
can
the
so,
ask her,
function
she will
anymore.
tell you she's an artist, she's not a singer, she's an
right.
actor. So again,
Okay.
it's about
Is she an artist when she's shopping? No, she is not
to
an
her,
artist.
no. To her, no. She's
Okay. She is not a famous artist anymore. Nobody recognizes her in the
But that
shop
doesn't
and
mean
so on.
you don't have to shed your identity depending on what you're
Maybe
doing.
maybe we can use
Sorry.
the example of Trump.
Yes, Trump. Trump, yeah. Is Trump when he is in deep sleep? Is he still the president of the United States of America or not? When he is in deep sleep. Yes, okay. Still, he's not signing any crazy law and so on for against, with the xenophobia and so on. He's not doing that anymore during deep sleep, yeah? He's not doing any order. He's not criticizing any artist and so on. So, is he still Trump sleeping, the sleeping president of USA? He is. Okay, so he's not acting as the president, he's just sleeping. So it means that the basis of imputation and the imputation don't need to coexist. They have no inherent relationship. Yeah, Madonna is still an artist even if she's shopping, you know. And for the prasangika, you can impute before the basis of imputation, you can impute after the basis of imputation, and you can impute during the basis of imputation. Like for instance, if you have an association, so you have a meeting and you decide who is the president of the association, yeah? So when the votes are done, then that person is the president, is imputed as being the president and is the president. And next year, when you have another meeting and you decide to vote for someone else, then that person is not the president anymore because you cease to impute that person as being the president. So the basis of imputation and the imputation and the imputed phenomenon coexist in that case, but not in most cases. Yeah, so that's why here the cup is the cause of my eye consciousness apprehending it. But if we really look for what is a cup, we will never find it within the basis of imputation. Still, the cup exists, not within the basis of imputation, so it exists imputedly, merely imputed cup for the prasangika. Yeah.
I have lots of other examples, but I stop. Sorry. I can give, for example, a policeman. He's not allowed to act as a policeman out of job, and he's still a
Yes.
policeman. So again,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm
Exactly.
sorry
Like,
for for
fine, no
interrupting.
problem.
I just say
One
it is
favorite.
conditional. It's conditional. Yeah.
Yes, one favorite example from Venerable Lossel, for instance, when he's in his retreat hut in the Pyrenees and so on in the south of France, then through his window he sees a beautiful mountain with a forest. So he could say, okay, one of my friends is on my left, one on my right, and on my left the friend says, oh, there are many beautiful trees, and the friend on the right would say, there is one forest. Is there If we say many trees or one forest, that's contradictory. So one is wrong, one is right. If both are right, then there is no one forest or many trees from their own side. It depends on the imputation, yeah? Do you agree with that? Okay, so it means that for the prasangikas, things can exist before our eye consciousness apprehends that, and so on. They can be the conditions, the object conditions of our direct perceptions, and so on. Still, they are merely imputed phenomena, because if we really look for what is that object condition, we will never find it within the basis of imputation. Yeah. Yeah. Very good, fantastic. Thank you so much. It was so nice. We are very close to get enlightened. So it will be too quick, too short. So let's keep it for next time. Thank you so much. Thank you for the sake of all the beings, for the long life. Yes,
If
please.
you can include the class on the adornment of Mount Meru, class information in the group chat, that would be
Yes.
very nice.
Okay, I will do that. Yeah. Okay, with pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you.
And see you
Merci. Danke
soon. For the sake of
vielmals.
all. And long life and good health for His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all the beautiful teachers that we have and fantastic examples in our lives. Thank you so much and see you next time. Thank you, Chaviji, for your help. Bye bye. Take care. See you.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you.